So yes, my people, I'm live, and this time uh, we'll be looking at how politicians really. I'll be looking at one politician, Barack Obama, and how he helped to propagate Islam as if Islam is a religion of peace, um, and helped to create in the mind of American that what they call militant Islam, or what they call radical Islam, is not really Islam. And, just to show you the danger of, really people like Obama, speaking from a black man's perspective, the danger of people like Obama to the, literally to the American people. It's not only Obama, you see Joe Biden, they've done it. Um, uh, George Bush Jr. have done it. George Bush Jr. actually says Islam is a religion of peace. We see where Joe Biden was quoting from Hadith, where Muhammad was literally telling Muslims to kill people. One one other thing is this: Joe Biden quoted part of the Hadith without looking at the historical background and the reason why Muhammad, the reason Muhammad was giving this Hadith, was speaking, and what was he really saying. And let me just, before I do this, I want to say all praises to the triune God, the God who is above all gods, the God who gives us wisdom to decipher things and to make sense of sensible things, and to make sense and to make nonsense of things that are nonsense. And Islam is nothing but nonsense. And so we're going to show you where Joe Biden actually quoted an hadith, and I don't know if he's ignorant of what he quoted. I would just want to give him the fact that he is ignorant of what he quoted. So let's do this real fast and see if we could find this, where Joe Biden quoted this hadith, and the hadith was actually about killing people, and he didn't even notice that that's what he was quoting. And we will show you where President Obama make similar mistakes. And is it a mistake, or Obama have an agenda? I don't know, but we will see as we go along, and we look into what Obama was saying and see if. And it's sad to see that we know that Obama is a lawyer, and so we know, when it comes to education, he's an intelligent man. But when we see intelligent people making stupid mistake, it's sad to see that. When I was in Jamaica, they used to tell us, 90% street smart and 10% book smart is what take you through the world. It seems like people like Obama forget, and they don't know that. I think Obama have 100% book smart and not much street smart, because of the stuff that he says. And with the book smart, you could use that book smart and you could handle your affair. But when it comes to, you're talking about a world that your children's children will be living in, and you are selling misinformation to people, and you call yourself the president of the United States. That's dangerous to me. So let us look and see where Joe Biden, if I could find this video, where Joe Biden actually quoted uh, um, hadith that was actually encouraging the killing of people. Um, it was just so I think this is the one here. So so let me show you where Joe Biden actually quoted a hadith. This is the ignorance of Western politicians, where they play with Islam and think Islam is a joke to play with. So let me show you this, where Joe Biden actually quoted a hadith, and the hadith is about jihad. You know, since the topic that we're going to be talking about really have something to do with jihad. So we see where Joe Biden quoted a hadith, and here it is. Let's share it with you.
Just had to talk about Muhammad. I know he was reading a script. I know that. But he just had to read what the script said about Muhammad. I don't say much about elections. All these politicians have to do is not say something stupid about Muhammad. I don't care if they talk about Muhammad. Just don't say something stupid, and they won't hear a word from me. Unfortunately, we've got a man who's running for president of the United States of America, quoting Muhammad without having the slightest clue what the quote actually means.
You know, David make a good point there, and that's why we are trying to educate people on. You know, I have a coworker who is talking about her brother, trying to get them to be Muslim and all that, and you know, I'm trying to tell her like, hey, educate yourself on Islam, and you know, I give her where she could go educate herself on Islam, because a Muslim will never educate you on Islam. They will never. You know, have we seen how Fibin Farouk is a liar? How can a liar educate you about Islam? No, they will not. You know, so uh, one of the reasons for this video is actually to show our family is that Islam is not a joke, and Islam is not something that you should endorse, because Islam is a less something that appear to be light, but behind it is darkness. It's like you're in a room and the room have some light in it, but you need to move further to go behind a curtain, and you need to open that curtain and enter into another room, a greater room, and in that greater room is where the darkness is. You know, and if you should remove that curtain, and the light would be like nothing. You know, that light would be like nothing, because in everything, you know, in everything there is a little truth. In almost everything there's a little truth, but half truth is no truth at all. You know, and quarter of a truth is no truth at all. A minute amount of truth. If I'm gonna sell you something and I'm selling you a little bit of truth, you know, and then the rest of it is darkness and evil, I'm actually selling you total darkness and evil, because the truth that I'm selling you is to uh, um, brainwash you to get you into this darkness. You know, she says her brother tell her about Jesus and all this stuff and all this stuff, but they would talk about Jesus, but is he the real Jesus? No, Islamic Jesus is not the real Jesus. And so this is how they get you trapped into this darkness called Islam. And we see Joe Biden himself uh, is tricked to believe this stupidity.
But I know what it means. And you're about to know what it means. And once you understand what it means, you'll understand why a man who wants to be president of the United States should not be quoting these words. Joe Biden just said to his Muslim listeners,
Hadith from the Prophet Muhammad instructs, whomever among you sees a wrong, let him change it with his hand. If he is not able, then with his tongue. If he is not able, then with his heart.
What a great quote. I wonder what Muhammad meant by it. Did Muhammad mean what Joe Biden apparently thinks he meant? Let's find out. In Sahih Muslim 177, a small dispute breaks out because a Muslim is about to deliver a sermon before the prayer. Another Muslim objects and points out that Muhammad would do the sermon after the prayer. So we have to do things the way Muhammad commanded. And then there's this quote: I heard the messenger of Allah say, whoever among you sees an evil action, let him change it with his hand by taking action. If he cannot, then with his tongue by speaking out. And if he cannot, then with his heart by hating it and feeling it is wrong. And that is the weakest of faith. So far, so good. But sometimes we have multiple hadiths, and one hadith will expand upon another hadith. Maybe we should check and see if Muhammad explains himself. The next hadith, Sahih Muslim 178, is basically a repeat of 177, but the one after that goes into a little more detail about what Muhammad means by the hand, the tongue, and the heart. Sahih Muslim 179. It was narrated from Abu Rafi, from Abdullah bin Masud, that the Messenger of Allah said, there is no prophet whom Allah sent to any nation before me, but he had disciples and companions among his nation who followed his path and obeyed his commands. Then after them came generations who said what they did not do and did what they were not commanded to do. Whoever strives against them with his hand is a believer. Whoever strives against them with his tongue is a believer. Whoever strives against them with his heart is a believer. Beyond that, there is not even a mustard seed's worth of faith. So, prophets are sent to their nations and they give commands. They establish laws. Their followers obey their commands. But later generations come along and they don't obey the commands. So the true followers of the prophet have to strive against these rebellious people with the hand, i.e., by physically forcing them to obey God's law, or if they can't strive with the hand because their enemies are more powerful than they are, then they can strive with the tongue, i.e., by preaching and condemning and rebuking and winning support. Or if it's too dangerous for them to verbally condemn the rebellious generation because they might get killed or something, then they can strive with the heart, i.e., by inwardly despising the evil and rebellion against the prophet, and by longing for the day when the prophet's commands can be enforced by the hand.
So you see, our politicians are ignorant of Islam. When a politician quote an hadith thinking that Muhammad was saying that take action against something by doing good with your hand, that's not what Muhammad mean. Muhammad mean that you strive with your hand. That mean you fight people. That's what Muhammad mean. But Joe Biden, because he's ignorant of Islam, he's quoting an hadith, believing that Muhammad was saying that to change something, you work with your hand to change it, like hunger. Then I go and cook some food and I take it downtown and I feed the hungry people. That's what Muhammad mean. But that's not what Muhammad mean. And a lot of times Muslim will quote hadith and Quranic verses, and if you are naive, you take it at face value without looking into it to see, because Muhammad was a murderer and an evil person. So anytime a Muslim quote anything to you about Muhammad, do further research into it. You will most of the time you will see that there is something they are covering up. And where did Joe Biden get this from? Possibly someone write that stuff as something for him to say to sell Islam, because here it is, Islam is being sold from the mouth of politician. The other day, Putin says, I'm paraphrasing him, that people should not criticize Muhammad, criticize Islam or criticize Muhammad, really criticize Muhammad. He literally says people should not criticize Muhammad. And Muslims take it and they run off with it. But look at Putin. Who is Putin? Can you imagine a man like Putin is your advisor telling you not to criticize Muhammad? Why is Putin endorsing Muhammad? Because they are alike. They are similar in ways. And as we go on, we will see. So we see Joe Biden doing it. And we know that George Bush Jr. said Islam is a religion of peace. We know that he said that, but let's look at who is the president of the United States now. And I will look at Obama. Why I'm looking at Obama? Because Obama I take offense to what Obama did, because Obama should have done better. He's a black man, should have set a better example. First black president, to me, he should have set a better example. And when I say he should have set a better example, people should look back at Obama and look at Obama in the light of Martin Luther King. And people should have looked at Obama in the light of Marcus Garvey. That's how I see people should have looked at Obama. When it comes to black and white issue, they should look at him in the light of Martin Luther King, because he is both black and white. He's from black and white. So he should come with love for both sides. He should come with, as a neutral person, both sides, love. And he should come and establish, as a black man, establish something that's so different that people marvel and said, wow, really and truly, this was different. But instead of that, he come and he sell ignorance. He sell ignorance. And the funny thing about it, we're going to reveal something. And this is why I know that Obama, even worse, and Joe Biden too, because Joe Biden have been in politics for years. They are not unaware that what they are saying is lies. To be real with you, they are not unaware that what they are saying is lies, because what? We are going to reveal to you that the FBI have been using this man's book for a certain period of time to deal with Islamic terrorism. So the FBI have been using this man's book to deal with Islamic terrorism. And if you really read this man's book, you will see that the book teaches that everything that ISIS, Boko Haram, all those Islamic terrorist group, everything they do comes straight from Muhammad. They are copying Muhammad. They are copying Muhammad. Everything that they do comes straight from Muhammad. So it is literally, it is very, very sad to see politicians in the West, especially Obama, who knows that the FBI is using this man's book. You want to tell me that Obama is unaware of what the FBI does? Why? Why is he unaware of what the FBI does? I don't know why. But anyway, let's go and quote to see what Obama says.
The terrorists do not speak for over 1 billion Muslims who reject their hateful ideology. They no more represent Islam than any madman who kills innocents in the name of God represents Christianity. Or
do you hear what he says? And this is the first part of what he says, if you go back, the first part of what he says, make a little sense, a little bit of sense.
The terrorists do not speak for over 1 billion Muslims who reject their hateful ideology. They no more represent
The Muslim who reject the hateful ideology of the terrorists that are not aware of actual Islam. They don't. They're not aware of what Islam is. Most Muslims are ignorant of Islam. And they believe they have heard that Islam is a religion of peace, and they copy that saying, and they can't see nothing but peace. And their imam and their sheikh only tell them certain verse, read certain verses of the Quran, only tell them certain hadith, because in Islam, a lot of people memorize. There's some people who memorize the Quran, but if you look at the percentage of people who memorize the Quran, not much. And to memorize something and to understand something is two different things. You could memorize a poem, but you don't understand what the poem is saying. You have no idea, no clue how to analyze the poem and come to the conclusion of what this poet is trying to say. And the Quran is in poetry form, and you could read it, but you don't understand it in light of the scholars, in light of the hadith, in light of the Sahaba. The Sahaba are the followers of Muhammad. So you have no idea what this is saying. But the other part of what Obama say is the bad part.
represent Islam, then any madman who kills innocents in the name of God represents Christianity.
So he's saying that these people like ISIS, Boko Haram, Al Qaeda, is not representing Islam, just like a madman who kill in the name of Christianity is not representing Christianity. See, the problem that Obama have right here is that Obama cannot show us anywhere at all in the Bible where Jesus told his disciples to kill anyone. Matthew 5 verse 44, Jesus told the disciple, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Matthew 7 verse 12, Jesus says, in everything, listen, in everything, do unto others as you like them to do to you. Not so in the Quran. Not so in the Quran. In Quran 9 verse 29, Muhammad told because I don't believe there's a God in Islam. I believe it's Muhammad and his possession. He was demon possessed. He was possessed by Satan, and his demon possession led him to create this book. In Quran 9 verse 29, or Surah 9 verse 29, Muhammad told the Muslims to fight those who, I'm paraphrasing, fight those who do not believe in Allah and his messenger and the last days. Even the people of the book, meaning even the Jews and the Christian, that you must fight the people who do not believe in Allah, who do not make unlawful what Allah and his messenger has made unlawful. So Christian who eat pork, Jews are supposed to fight, not Jews, Muslims are supposed to fight against that. And when you say fight, it could be, and we'll show you later, it could be verbally, it could be physically. So it could be verbally and it could be physically, because there is verbal jihad. You see where Muhammad used to tell this poet called Hassan. There was a poet called Hassan that Muhammad have in his entourage, and Muhammad used to tell the poet, lampoon them with your poetry. That Muhammad used to tell the poet to curse the enemies with their poetry. But when the enemies returned the curse on Muhammad, Muhammad would behead the enemies. If you look it up, how many poets Muhammad killed? Muhammad killed possibly, as far as I can remember, Muhammad killed maybe about 7, 8 poets because they were writing against him. But he was encouraging Hassan to lampoon the pagans with his poetry. But when it was reversed to him, he would kill the poets who wrote and recite against him. So Obama have no clue, or either Obama is a deceiver or Obama is ignorant. You know, and that's sad to see that you are the Black president of the United States. Take a stand and be, you know, and be real. Because is that something that you think that Martin Luther King Jr. would have see evil and don't speak out against evil? I don't think so. So Obama is no Martin Luther King Jr. Nowhere close to that man. Nowhere close to that man. I know that Martin Luther King Jr. have his infidelity, but apart from that, when it comes to speaking the truth, Obama is no Martin Luther King. No Martin Luther King, you know, and should never be in that category. You know, when it comes to presidents of the United States, you know, it's crazy. I don't know. That's somebody else's, you know, that's my own opinion. But what I was about to say, but look at this and see where a Black man is actually get a podium to speak. And instead of echoing truth across the world, you know, this is a lie that he's telling, or the ignorance that he is spilling.
Or Judaism, all of us have a responsibility to refute the notion that groups like ISIL somehow represent Islam.
Do you see that? All of us. So this man, literally idiot to me, in a sense, is calling us to refute something that is the truth. You can't refute the truth. How can you refute something that is the truth? You can't do that. There is nowhere you can refute something that is called the truth. You know, that's how sad this thing is, that you're calling someone to refute something that is the truth. How do you do that? You know, how can you refute the truth? You know, literally, you cannot refute the truth. You know, sad, man, sad. ISIS is the epitome of following Muhammad. The beheading, all these things are done by Muhammad. People who leave Islam are killed by ISIS. All these things are done by Muhammad. If you look at the Quran speak about striking off, cutting off the head and the fingertip. Let me actually read the Quran verse. Let me show you. ISIS is actually following the Quran to the T. So here we go. Remember when the Lord inspired the angels, saying, I am with you. So make those who believe stand firm. I will throw fear into the hearts of those who disbelieve, then smite their necks and smite of them each finger. And this is Quran 8, verse 12. Quran 8, verse 12. Quran 8, verse 12 says, remember, and if you look at another translation, Yusuf Ali translation, remember that Lord inspired the angel with the message, I am with you. Give firmness to the disbeliever. To give firmness to the believers. Sorry, give firmness to the believers. I will instill terror in the hearts of the unbelievers. So the angel must give firmness to the believers, and that Allah will instill terror in the hearts of the unbelievers. Smite ye above their necks and smite all their fingertips of them. So what ISIS is doing is actually Islam. Is actually Islam. And people might, you might say, that was, because if you ask the Muslim will say, that was the instruction given to the people of the past. But look at it. The Quran talk about abrogation, where Allah says, let me actually read a Quranic verse regarding this. And then we go. ABROGATIONVERSES, Quran. I'm freestyling, so bear with me. So according to Quran, Quran 2, verse 106, and Quran 16, verse 101, we see where the Quran is saying, we substitute one revelation for another revelation. So Allah knows best what he revealed in stages. So if Allah is substituting one revelation for another revelation because he revealed revelation in stages, why are these revelations still in the Quran? If the Muslim will tell you that these revelations were for the people of Muhammad time, but no, it's not. If the Quran is saying that we substitute one revelation for another revelation, and Allah knows best what he revealed in stages, then what do we see? What do we see? These revelations were not supposed to be in the Quran if they were not for the people of our time. But they are for the people of our time. And that's why they remain there. So if we look at, okay, let me read something for you from this Islamic source. Let me read something for you. This is coming from what is this coming from? Sorry, I'm a bit hungry, so if you hear my belly, and not worry about that though. So abrogation in the Quran refer to, okay, so abrogation in the Quran. So Faith Quran, I don't know what this site is called. I'll look at it in a minute. But it says, abrogation in the Quran refer to the phenomenon of a later verse changing or altering a ruling established by a verse revealed earlier. So the Quran speak about abrogating verses, changing verses for a better one. There is a verse that says, I'm going to read it for you in a minute. Later scholar develop divergent technical definition of abrogation that differ slightly from the linguistic usage of earlier generation, leading to significant disagreement over the nature of abrogation. How many verses were abrogated, and even whether abrogation is a legitimate interpretive mechanism. But listen to what the Quran itself says. Listen to what the Quran itself says. So we're gonna just read Quran 2. So if we read Quran 2 verse 16, 106, sorry, Quran 2 verse 106, what will it tell us? So here we go. None of our revelation do we abrogate or cause to be forgotten, but we substitute something better or similar. Knowest thou not that Allah hath power over all things? So what this is saying, we do not abrogate a verse or cause it to be forgotten, except that we bring forth one better than it or similar to it. So we see that this so-called God was changing verses. And why is it that these verses are still in the Quran? Because they are for our time. And as we go on, you will see that they are actually for our time. It's intended to be used even in our time. So let Obama continue.
Because that is a falsehood that embraces the terrorist narrative.
Do you see how, and here is this other one. Oh, Obama says this is a falsehood that embraces the terrorist narrative. No, this is a falsehood that encourage Mohammed. Obama speaking is a falsehood that encourage the terrorist activity. Because if everybody's eyes were open that Islam, that this is real Islam, the Muslims who are not aggressive are not out to harm anyone, are not really practicing Islam. And a matter of fact, there is a hadith where Muhammad actually said these people are nobodies. These Muslims are nobodies. He said the best people are the people who fight in the cause of Allah. Muhammad actually said that the best people Let me look at that. The best people are those who fight in the cause of Allah. So okay, so when we look at this, when we look at this, the whole thing that Obama is actually saying is actually misrepresenting Islam to the people who are ignorant of Islam, and he's selling the narrative of the imam and the sheikh, because literally Islam is the opposite of what Obama is selling as Islam. That's not what Islam is. And the people who are peaceful doesn't represent Islam. The Muslim who are peaceful and they don't represent Islam. Let me read you a Quran verse for you. Let me read a Quran verse for you, and you will see something. Let me read a Quran verse for you, and then you will look and see what Islam really is, because this is coming from the Quran. And so you can't say that it is. This is Surah 48 verse 29. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those with him are hard against the disbeliever and merciful among themselves. Do you notice what he says? They are hard against the disbeliever and merciful against themselves. So the opposite of merciful against themselves is hard against the believer. That means they are not to show the disbelievers any more mercy. Literally, these are the kind of things that you find inside the Quran. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those with him are hard against the disbeliever and merciful against themselves. Another translator says, Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those who are with him are strong against the disbeliever, but compassionate amongst themselves. The word compassionate means loving. So the opposite of loving is what? Showing hatred towards disbelievers. Here is another translation. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those with him are firm of heart against the disbelievers and compassionate among themselves. So firm of heart is the opposite of compassionate. Because if you are compassionate against disbelievers, and this is this of what the Messiah told us. What the Messiah said, love your enemies. Is that what he says? And pray for those who persecute you. So you mean the Messiah is saying, be compassionate to your enemies, and and the Messiah also say in the book of John, love one another as I love you. So the Messiah is saying to love yourself and love your enemies also. But this is not what you find in Islam. He said you must be firm against the disbelievers and compassionate and be loving among yourselves. So do you see? Do you see this? Listen this again. Listen this verse here. Allah will Allah will bring a people whom he loveth, whom love him. Listen this verse. Surah 5 verse 54. Allah will bring a people whom he loveth and who love him, humble towards the believers, stern toward the unbelievers, striving in the way of Allah, and fearing not the blame of any blamers. So you're going to be humble towards the believers and stern towards the unbelievers. Humble, opposite of humble, is what? Aggressive. The opposite of humble is aggression, right? If you are humble to one person and then you're stern to the other person, what do you mean when you're stern to someone? If you're humble towards the believers and stern towards the disbelievers, what does that mean? What does that mean? When we go to Surah 8, and we see where it says strike off their head and strike off their fingertip. If you go down further in that verse and you go to Surah 8, 39, what you find there. In Surah 8, verse 39, what you find there is even more. And fight them until there is no fitna. Some translations say fitna means oppression, but we know that's a lie. And how are we going to know this? Because we use our wisdom. So you will find some translators say fitna in lie. Why we know that? If we read the rest of the verse. Fight until there is no fitna, until the religion, all of it is for Allah. So notice, you must fight people until all religion belong to Allah. All the religion in the world belong to Allah. That's what actually this verse is saying. All of the religion belong to Allah. So the translator who tell you to fight and that fitna mean oppression, is the lying, because there could be no oppression, but all the religion does not belong to Allah. Because if Muslims are not attacking Christian and killing Christian, and what you will have is dialogue between Christian and Muslim, peaceful dialogue between Christian and Muslims, and you will all the religion will not belong to Allah, but there will be no oppression, right? But listen to this translator, what this translator says, and this is why you know this is true. Fight them until there is no more fitna. And the translator put fitna as disbelief and polytheism, i.e. worshiping others beside Allah. This makes a lot of sense. Fight until there is no one worshiping anybody but Allah, and the religion will all be for Allah alone. Do you see that this makes a lot of sense? So according to Surah 8, verse 39, Muslims are to fight people until only Islam is in the world. Only Islam is in the world. So let's get back to see what this clip says here.
We are at war with violent extremism. We are at war with people who use their religion for purposes of power and oppression. And yes, we are at war with those people, but I don't want us to be painting with too broad a brush.
And just last week,
look, are we at war with the regular Muslim? What Hillary Clinton say right there? I give her, I'm not going to be harsh with her, because she said we are at war with these people. Yes, we are. Are we at war with the regular Muslims? Like, when I say regular, I mean the ones that are ignorant of Islam. No, because the ones that are ignorant of Islam, even though they help to promote Islam, to promote the ones that are the real Muslims. So the ignorant Muslim who are peaceful, they help to promote the aggressive Muslims. They do help to promote those Muslims. Why? Because they are the one propagating that Islam is a religion of peace and increasing this religion in the world. You know, thinking to increase this religion in the world. And in the United States, they sell you a lie, because you will see, the guy who wrote the book that the FBI used to use to fight Islamic terrorism, I will actually let him speak on a video, and he will reveal some things to you that you guys need to look in and take seriously. So we're gonna just end this right here, and then we are gonna go to this guy who actually so I'm gonna look at the comments in a minute. So this guy who actually wrote a book that the FBI used to use to combat Islamic terrorism. So my question is, did Obama and those presidents, you know, like George Bush, even Hillary Clinton, who was never a president, but she was Secretary of State, does she not know, and Obama and Biden, do they not know about this man book, and that this man have written this book about Islam that the FBI believes in? The FBI believe this man. So why is, if the FBI is using his book and the FBI believe what this man wrote, because the man is using citation, Islamic citation, to verify what he's saying about Islam, why is it that Obama and Biden and Hillary Clinton and George Bush and these people are selling a different narrative? Why? Why is it? So listen this here.
When they grew larger, and later on, when Muhammad went from Mecca to Medina, another city in Arabia, he began to preach warfare against unbelievers. When the Muslims grew in number and gained power.
So this man is Robert Spencer, and he's the one who wrote the book that the FBI used to use to combat Islamic terrorism. Look at this. Do you hear what he says? He says, when Muhammad, he literally is saying that when Muhammad started out, he started out peacefully because he was small in number. But as his number grew, what did he do? This is what he's saying here.
When they grew larger, and later on, when Muhammad went from Mecca to Medina, another city in Arabia, he began to preach warfare against unbelievers. When the Muslims grew in number and gained power. Now, this is very important because in Islam, everything Muhammad did is exemplary. Chapter 33, verse 21 of the Quran says that Muhammad is an excellent example for you. An excellent example is not qualified. In other words, there is no limitation on that excellent example. Everything Muhammad did is good and to be imitated by the Muslim.
And this is why when Obama said ISIS is not Islamic representative of Islam, Obama is either a liar or he's naive, silly, because ISIS is doing everything that Muhammad did. Can somebody name me something that ISIS did that Muhammad didn't do? I want somebody to show me something that ISIS do that Muhammad didn't do. In the chat, in the comment, show me something that ISIS did that Muhammad did not do, and I will prove you wrong. Show me something that ISIS did that Boko Haram is doing that Muhammad did not do. And remember, as I tell you, that as he said, and I echoed that when Muhammad have a small group of people, Muhammad appeared to be peaceful, but as he increased in number and have an army, Muhammad started killing people, started raping people, plundering communities. And this is one of the reasons Muhammad was killed. He was poisoned by a Jewish woman because he had just raided Khaybar, killed so many Jews, and have the audacity, the stupidity to eat from a Jewish woman. This is how much he think that he was the big dog. Muhammad was a stupid man. And stupidity follows stupidity. The regular Muslims, when I say regular Muslims, I'm talking about the people, ignorant Muslim who don't know what Islam really is. Like the ones that are peaceful living in our community. They are not the representative of Islam. They are not. They don't represent Islam. What they represent is what the Imam teach them. But Islam have a different agenda. Let me show you. Do you notice? Let me reveal again what the brother says here.
When they grew larger, and later on, when Muhammad went from Mecca to Medina, another city in Arabia, he began to preach warfare against unbelievers.
Do you see that? Now, he is not a Muslim, so we are going to let a Muslim echo what this man is saying. We are going to let a Muslim echo this, because when we are listening from a Christian perspective, I don't know if the brother is a Christian, but when you are listening from a Western perspective, it seems like you're lying. But listen to this Muslim. This is a sheikh, a scholar, an Islamic scholar. Listen to him, what he's going to say. Exactly what this brother is saying. So let me take you right to the spot where he's saying exactly what this brother is saying. So you see that this brother is not telling you a lie.
The other type of jihad is the one that everyone trying to hide.
So jihad mean war. So he's saying the other type of war is the one that everyone is trying to hide. Who is trying to hide it? The Muslims are trying to hide it from us. That there is another side of Islam that we are trying to stop from happening in the West. There's another side of Islam, a very dangerous side of Islam, that a lot of black people go to jail, they come back being Muslim. They have no idea of this side of Islam, this dangerous and evil side of Islam.
And it's called Jihad al-Talab.
Jihad utalab mean offensive jihad. Offensive jihad is you are attacking people who are not attacking you. And this is why they are trying to hide this. Muhammad practiced. Notice what he says here.
And this means that the jihad of pursuing, running after. And this jihad was at the time of the Prophet ﷺ.
So he said this jihad was at the time of the Prophet. Offensive jihad means you go attack a people who did not attack you. You're running after people who are running away from you. They are not trying to fight you. You going after them. Defensive jihad. Defensive jihad means you are defending yourself against attacker. Offensive jihad, you are the one attacking people. Do you hear what this man says? And he said that kind of jihad was in the time of the Prophet. And where was that practice? The typical time when this jihad was practiced was at Khaybar, where Muhammad attacked the Jews, and that's where he was killed. He was poisoned and died about 4 years after the poison killed him. When he was dying, he said, he told his wife, I feel like my aorta is being severed from the poison I eat at Khaybar. Muhammad was so evil to the people of Khaybar that he allowed his men to light fire on the chest of a Jew so that the Jew could reveal where he hid his treasures. So you see what I'm talking about, where you see people like Obama selling this kind of religion to us as people in the and thinking that it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay, because what is the agenda of the Muslims? To increase Islam in the West, to make Islam be the ruling population in the West. And if Islam rule, the dynamic of a country changes when Islam rule. Wherever is, as the brother shows you, wherever Islam is the majority, chaos take place. Chaos take place. The reason you will see that in some places they are not chaotic, in some places it's not chaotic, because it's all Muslims living together. But if there's other people living with the Muslims, it cannot work. It may be not that chaotic when Muslims are living together, because they are doing they're living in one accord. But if all the people in the United States should live together and go out hard and work, and there is no stealing, then it would be okay. We wouldn't have a problem. But if all the people in the United States are thieves, we'd have a problem. But what if some people are thief and some people are not thief? Then you have a problem. And what if some people believe in child marriage and some people don't believe in child marriage? You're gonna have a problem. What if some people believe that you should treat some people as second-class citizens, while some people as upper-class citizens, you're going to have a problem. That's why we have problem in American society, where people are treated in certain ways in certain sectors of the communities. But in Islam, overall, where Islam rule, Christians will always be second-class citizens. Look at all these Islamic countries, how they are treating Christians. In Nigeria, about a week ago, a woman was killed by a Muslim mob. Do you see that?
But this jihad cannot be accomplished, cannot take place unless the state of the Muslims is strong.
So he's saying that you cannot do offensive jihad unless the state of the Muslim is strong. You cannot go and conquer a nation or conquer a community unless the state of the Muslim is strong. And this is what they are trying to do in the Western world, make the state of the Muslims strong. And Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bush, and Biden is helping them to establish that by lying to the people or by being ignorant of what Islam is. Because if this guy, Spencer, is his book, the guy I showed you before, which I'm going to show you again, that was talking about Islam, his book is the book that they use to train the FBI use in their training to understand Islam. Because he's not telling you, so far, have you heard him say anything that this guy did not verify?
If you don't have a strong Muslim country, who can they pursue or attack? No. Stay where you are. Just try to fix yourself, enrich your people with Islamic knowledge and Iman. Then you can go. And what is the reason behind such jihad? Number one, to call them to Islam.
So you're going to attack a country and just to Islamicize the country. You're going to attack the country, and the aim of attacking this country is to Islamicize the country.
It is for dawah.
It's for dawah. Dawah means it's for spreading Islam. So the reason to attack the country is to spread Islam.
The jihad is only for da'wah. That is why when Muslims go and conquer the adjacent country, what do? We kill them all? No. The Prophet says, the first thing you do is call them to Islam.
So you go and conquer the adjacent country and you call them to Islam. Man. Okay, so let's get out of that. We use that a lot. But do you see what we are talking about, man? This is the craziness, man. And we are showing you how politicians are using their ignorance to spread Islam. So listen to the brother,
When the Muslims grew in number and gained power. Now, this is very important because in Islam, everything Muhammad did is exemplary. Chapter 33, verse 21 of the Quran says that Muhammad is an excellent example for you. An excellent example is not qualified. In other words, there is no limitation on that excellent example. Everything Muhammad did is good and to be imitated by the Muslim.
And do you see the difference between this man and Obama? This man is speaking from knowledge. Obama is speaking from ignorance and stupidity, saying that the regular Muslims, saying that ISIS doesn't represent Islam. Yes, ISIS represents Islam. Anything that a Muslim do that Muhammad did represent Islam, because according to Surah 33 verse 21, Muhammad is the perfect example for the Muslims to follow.
Consequently, when the Muslims are a small band and Muhammad is preaching tolerance, when you have Muslims who are a small group in a particular nation, they will preach peace and tolerance. When they grow in numbers and power, then you will find they are preaching a very different message.
Isn't that what the Muslim sheikh does say? Say the Muslims should sit back when they are small in number, but then when they get great in number, they can go and attack the adjacent country.
Muhammad in the year 622 was invited, according to Islamic tradition, by the people of Yathrib, which was a nearby city, which later on became renamed as Medina or Medinat Nabi, the city of the Prophet. He was invited to come and be a political and military leader of the city, as well as the religious leader, and they would convert to Islam. Once there, he began to preach that Allah was giving him revelations about the necessity in the first place to fight defensive wars against the unbelievers, and then to fight offensive wars against the unbelievers in order to bring them under the hegemony of Islam, to convert them to Islam, or if they refuse to convert to Islam, then to make them submit to the hegemony of Islamic law and to recognize their degraded status in this world as well as in the next as the punishment from Allah for refusing to accept Islam. The Quran is full of warnings that the unbelievers will be punished in this world and not just in hellfire. And the punishment in this world is to be enforced by the Muslims themselves, who will terrorize, strike terror in the hearts of the unbelievers. This is in chapter 8, verse 60 of the Quran, and bring them into submission to Islamic law, which guarantees them a second-class status. Now, this is something that Muslims have put into practice throughout history. In the first era of Islam, there were the caliphates. The caliphs were, caliph means successor. And the caliphs were the successors of Muhammad as the political, military, and spiritual leaders of the Islamic world. And just as Muhammad did, they led offensive wars against the neighboring states in order to bring them under the hegemony of the Islamic world. When the Arabs first came out of Arabia, after the death of Muhammad in 632, Islam was actually in an inchoate state and was not fully formulated dogmatically as it is today. However, those conquests in Islamic tradition have been ascribed to the imitation of Muhammad, who called for warfare against unbelievers, making the heart of the Islamic world, the Middle East, North Africa, and Persia, out of what had been Christian and Zoroastrian areas. And they were conquered then, according to...
So, do you see, many, all these areas that is run by Islam here now, majority of these areas that are now Islamic in the Mid East were once Christian areas, because even in Mecca, according to the Islamic sources, you have Christians and Jews living among the pagans. And then here comes Muhammad with his newfound religion, claiming that 1 minute he said he's the first of the Muslim. The next minute he says Adam is the first of the Muslim. Another minute he says Abraham is the first of the Muslim, because Muhammad was a very confused character whose mind was never steady. And this is one of the reasons he was always changing the Quran. 1 minute he changed the Quran verse, he have a revelation, he changed it, have another revelation, he changed it. He was always changing whatever he claimed was revelation. And he was forgetting what he wrote too. He was forgetting the so-called revelation. There's an incident where we go to a mosque and a man was reading Quranic verse, reciting Quranic verse, and he said to his wife, God bless this man because Allah bless this man because he caused me to remember such and such verses from such and such surah, which I was caused to forget. So he was getting revelation according to him, and he was forgetting it. This is how careless he was regarding his so-called revelation, because I believe deeply that Muhammad knew that he was a fraud, and Muhammad did not care, But I also believe that Muhammad was possessed by Satan, according to the Islamic sources, and this is one of the reasons he was doing the things that he was doing. And many of his revelation came from his possession by demon, and others of his revelation came from his own invention and his own intention, his own desire. As his wife, actually his baby wife, he married to a woman, married to a child, sorry. He married to a child when she was 6 years old and have sex with her when she was 9. And that child at one point told him, "It seems like your Lord hastened to fulfill your desire." Because every time Muhammad have a desire, here comes a Quranic verse that satisfies his desire. But I want you guys to hear the part where he says his book was used by the FBI. So let's get there.
22, was invited, according to Islamic tradition, by the people of Yathrib, which was a nearby city, which later on became renamed as Medina or Medinat Nabi, the city of the Prophet.
I think I'm not.
He was invited to come and be a political and military leader of the city, as well as the religious leader, and they would convert to Islam. Once there, he began to preach that Allah was giving him revelations about the necessity in the first place to fight defensive wars against the unbelievers, and then to fight offensive wars against the unbelievers, in order to bring them under the hegemony of Islam, to convert them to Islam, or if they refuse to convert to Islam, then to make them submit to the hegemony of Islamic law, and to recognize their degraded status in this world as well as in the next.
So
about Muhammad, that's quite clear. Anyone can get them and read them. But there is a great deal of misinformation and disinformation about Muhammad, just as there is about jihad and about the history of Islam and jihad.
And part of the misinformation and disinformation is coming from political leaders and also religious leaders, but mostly political leaders like Obama, Joe Biden. And in the past, we have George Bush Jr., who have no clue what Islam is about, but they were helping to promote Islam.
Jihad and a great deal of other related issues. So, for example, Karen Armstrong, who is a very prominent historian in the United States, in England rather, she wrote a book several years ago, actually 2 books about Muhammad, in which she said, among other things, that Muhammad is comparable to Gandhi in being a man of peace and in striving to bring peace to all those around him.
Can you imagine? You're saying that Muhammad is a man like Gandhi. Where have you ever seen Gandhi write a book that says, strike off their head and their fingertip? Didn't we just read from the Quran 8 verse 39 that says strike off their head and their fingertip? But this stupid woman is writing a book saying that Muhammad is like Gandhi. This, you know what this is? It's just so crazy to see that intelligent, because if you can write a book, you have some form of intelligence. If you can write a book, I'm not talking about like Kenny Boomer book. We're not talking about Kenny Boomer writing a stupid book. We're talking about, this woman writing a book, and saying Muhammad is like Gandhi. How?
she could only have said such a thing to an audience that didn't know anything about Muhammad as he is depicted in the Islamic text. Because every bit of what ISIS, the Islamic State, does, or the Taliban, or the ISI in Pakistan, or any number of other organizations that are dedicated to following Muhammad and implementing his teachings, everything that they do is based upon Islamic texts. And ISIS is actually quite scrupulous in following the teachings of Muhammad, and the actions of Muhammad is exemplary in their actions, in what they do around the world, even the most horrifying things that they do. This is something that is denied or assumed to be false by most of the intelligence and law enforcement authorities in the world. As a matter of fact, you noted in introducing me very kindly that several of my books were used in FBI training materials. That was up until about 10 years ago. And then they dropped.
So do you see that? And this video was recorded this year, about 3 months ago, in February. So he said up until 10 years ago in Obama time. And you will see, he actually said that they dropped them because the Obama administration. So you see how dangerous Obama was to this country. You know, as a black man, I'm speaking the truth, that Obama was very, very dangerous to this country, and not only to this country, but to the whole entire Western Hemisphere. Very dangerous. A very dangerous person to this country. If everybody should come behind Obama and follow in the Obama narrative, then guess what? You have the Western world conquered. The leader of the free world, Obama, at that time, is of a 7th century caravan robber in his head, to the point where he's controlled by a 7th century caravan robber. Can you imagine that? And this is why we say intelligence, man. What do you call intelligence? Is it book smart? That's what you call intelligence? Or is there more to intelligence? There's a lot of people out there on the street that are more intelligent than some of these politicians are. Because if anybody have the idea about Islam, because look at it, this man says what?
Stopped them because the Obama administration determined that they were going to not have any mention of Islam or jihad in connection with counter-terror training. Because
do you see that? You see how dangerous that is?
Because Islam has nothing to do with terrorism.
And you hear when he say that, you hear Obama say that Islam have nothing to do with terrorism. What is Islam? Following Muhammad is Islam. I'm trying to tell people, these so-called Muslims that you see around here, they're not Muslims. Literally, they are not Muslims. They are just a cover-up for what is behind the scene, and a promotion for what is behind the scene. You know, I remember this reggae artist called Bounty Killer. You know, used to sing a lot of gun violent music. And, you know, when I was in reggae music, and I like reggae music, and was singing and doing all this stuff, there was a guy called Bounty Killer, who a lot of gun violent music. And I remember him saying, every publicity is good publicity. And what I realize is Islam is in the game of using people, especially prominent people, to promote Islam. When Mohammed Ijab interviewed Bart Ehrman, what do you think it was for? To use Bart Ehrman to promote Islam. When Mohammed Ijab interviewed Jordan Peterson, what did you think that was for? To use him to promote Islam. I actually have a video clip where Mohammed Ijab actually believed that Jordan Peterson would become a Muslim. He actually, after his interview with Jordan Peterson, he actually prophesied that this man is gonna become Muslim. He actually says Islam is what he needs in his life. That Islam is what Jordan Peterson needs in his life. If anybody have been listening to Jordan Peterson lately, you see this man is more into Christianity than he is into Islam. But the promotion of Islam is, if you could get Elon Musk, if you could get Jeff Bezos, if you could get who else is out here as anybody of influence, any movie star, any politician, these are what they are aiming for. They're aiming for influential people to become Muslim, influential people to promote Islam. You see people like Obama, a black, the man at that moment who was the most known, the most important in a sense, black man promoting stupidity. That's how dangerous he is. To be real with you, to me, the Democratic Party is a very dangerous party to me. I don't want to get into politics, but I do believe that. I do believe that. When I say dangerous, they take things too lightly. You know, when I say dangerous, I'm not saying that, oh, you know, but they take things too lightly. The promotion of a lot of things, laziness, the promotion of child killing, which is abortion, the promotion of a whole bunch of the stupidity, you know, some not going to be mentioned here, but when you look at this and promoting Islam, people like Obama create an image of the beast that is not actually what the beast is. So they create an image of the beast, because Islam is a beast, and they create an image of the beast that's not actually what the beast is. It's like painting a donkey and calling it a princess. You know, that's literally what you see.
Unfortunately, the terrorists would tell you different. And they would tell you that Islam has everything to do with terrorism and that everything that they're doing is based on Islam.
And they can prove that too. They can prove that everything that they do is based on Islam. And some people were like, oh, why was ISIS killing Muslims? If you look at the video, here, where the Sheikh was speaking, Sheikh Asim Al-Hakim, he actually says a part of jihad is to fight against Muslims who are pretentious Muslims. Yes. He said there is verbal jihad. There is jihad, you use verbal jihad, and there is jihad of fighting against the enemies of Islam, which include hypocrites who pretend to be Muslim and they are not. And ISIS believed that the Muslims that they were killing were pretentious Muslims. They weren't really Muslim, but they were what? Kuffars.
When we look at the life of Muhammad as depicted in the Islamic texts, we can see that. Muhammad, according to the earliest available Islamic sources, was born in 570 in Arabia, in Mecca. And in the year 610, when he was 40 years old, he was praying in a cave on a mountain outside Mecca. And there appeared to him a being. In standard Islamic history, this is represented as the angel Gabriel. And according to Islamic sources, it was Gabriel, the angel, who appeared to Muhammad to give him the Quran over a period of 23 years subsequent to the first meeting. However,
but I don't know if he's going to touch on this, but if you look at it, the sources actually told us that Muhammad initially believed that this angel was a demon. he didn't believe that it was Gabriel, because the angel did not tell him that he was Gabriel. It was later when his wife and her cousin Warika already said that it was Gabriel. Then, according to Muhammad, the angel says, the so-called angel said that it was Gabriel. Muhammad initially believed that he was possessed by a demon to the point where he started attempting suicide. We find that in Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 9, hadith 111.
However, if you look at the earliest records, there is no mention of Gabriel, and the being is not identified. Muhammad is also depicted as being absolutely terrified by the vision that he had received, and not knowing if he was possessed by a demon, which is a strange response to having an encounter with an angel. He then went home shivering with fear and told his wife Khadija to cover him with a blanket because he was trembling. And he told her what had happened. Ultimately, she took him to her uncle, Waraka bin Nawfal, who was a Christian priest. And he explained to Muhammad, and all this, remember, is according to the earliest Islamic sources, that he was a prophet and Gabriel. However, a very strange aspect of the stories, and that is that Gabriel is terrifying. In their first encounter, it says that he pressed Muhammad so hard that he thought he was going to die.
And this was done 3 times. This so-called angel pressed him 3 times to the point where he thought he was going to die. He could not breathe. It's like that police officer and George Floyd neck. That's something you should laugh about, but that's literally what Jibril, the so-called angel, was doing to Muhammad. This is a religion that people should follow. Why are we so naive? And then this is what Obama, the president of the United States, is promoting. Do you see that stupidity? Can you imagine a cult that is so dangerous? You have Obama, the president of the United States, promoting that stuff. Wow, what a beautiful president. Okay, let me see what my peoples are saying, because I always like to involve my people into what's going on here. Okay, so here come a ranting Muslim. So the first one to rant is a Muslim. Christianity is based on worshiping Jesus. Jesus never practiced Christianity by worshiping himself. Do you see how stupid this guy is? Comedy come to show now. Do you see how stupid this guy is? How can Jesus practice Christianity? Christianity mean worshiping Jesus. This guy is stupid, man. Anyway, let's go back. No one is interested in watching your nonsense, bro. At the end of the day, at least 50 people will watch it. So stop wasting your time and data. I'm wasting data. We're not living in Nigeria, fool. We don't waste data. And there is no time waste speaking the truth. You're stupid. If one person hear the truth, it's not a waste of time. Boy, something is wrong with your brain, man. You need a new brain. I could buy you one from Walmart. Better if you have a pig's brain than using your human brain this way. Throughout all your video live broadcasts, I'm yet to see 5 person watching. Oh, wow. A while ago, there was 6 person and you yet to see 5 person. Something is wrong with your brain. Your brain is like that of a donkey. God bless you too, my brother. My sister. God bless you too. And thanks a lot for watching and sharing whatever you guys do. I appreciate it. What a crazy guy, man. Nothing he say make any sense. Nothing he says make any sense. He said Obama was a deceiver. One is yes, two is no. Yeah, I do believe Obama, something was wrong with Obama. I really do believe that. Okay, she says, fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last days. Yeah, we go through that. We go through that. Here is another verse that the sister mentioned, Surah 9, verse 5. It's Surah 9, verse 5. If you look at Surah 9, verse 5, let's see, Surah 9, 5, you will see what it says. But when the forbidden months are past, then fight and slay the pagans wherever you find them, and seize them. Do you see that? Fight them wherever you find them. That is offensive jihad, because you are the one who is going after them. So you see that Muslims are lying to us when they say Islam was protecting itself. No, Islam a lot of times were the one attacking people. Muhammad was attacking people, because he says, but when the forbidden months are past, then fight and slay the pagans wherever you find them. That means you are go and seize them, beleaguer them, and lie in wait for them in every stratagem. So you are going after them and lie in wait for them. This is offensive jihad. So that's another one that the sister showed that was going on. America is infested of corruption at the highest level. It's scary. It is scary to know that politicians are so naive in America. That's what is scary. That is what is totally scary. You know, to see that politicians would say something. But I want to share something with you guys that Jordan Peterson said, and it is like very important to see people like Jordan Peterson saying stuff like this. You know, the Muslim that just comment, he believe that he's affecting me. The more they comment is the more I want to do what I do. Why? Let me show you something. I remember when Adam Seeker first started his channel. This Muslim guy, when Adam Seeker just started his channel, this Muslim guy, his name is Asana. Asana Batitata, he came out against Adam Seeker and saying that, oh, Adam Seeker, his channel is nothing and this and that. And then I actually show him. I said, you will see this man's channel increase. And what happened? Adam Seeker channel become so big that to shut up this guy, but we don't care if our channel become big or nothing. What we really care about is speaking the truth. Let me see here. I just open it. I don't know why I can't see it. Okay, it's a YouTube video. Okay, so it is a YouTube video. So let's show you this. This is important that we look into these things. Look at this.
Someone, is it okay to lie for the greater good? They would say, well, the majority of those people on the extremes would say yes. And then I wonder, well, perhaps that's an indication that you're on the extreme. Perhaps if you have a worldview, I talk about this concept called Weltanschauung.
That's a good idea, man.
Perhaps if you
So people like Obama, are they thinking that they're lying for the greater good, or what are they doing? Are they just so uneducated and stupid, or are they thinking that they're lying for the greater good? What are they doing?
have a Weltanschauung that says that somehow you can't tell a lie and be for the greater good because the truth and the good are tied, then perhaps you're not on the
I
extreme.
think that's right. So I think that's a really smart idea. The idea that if you have a belief system politically that requires any lies to support, then that's an indication that you've gone too far. I think that's a good rule of thumb.
I think that if you were to ask someone, is it okay to lie for the greater good? They would say, well, the majority of those people on the extremes.
And Islam teaches that you could lie for Islam. And you see this logic here? Do you see how this is logical? You cannot lie for the greater good, because the greater good and speaking the truth is on the same level.
Would say yes. And then I wonder, well, perhaps that's an indication that you're on the extreme. Perhaps
Yes, that means Islam is extremist religion. Do you see this?
if you have a worldview, I talk about this concept called Weltanschauung.
That's a good idea, man.
Perhaps if you have a Weltanschauung that says that somehow you can't tell a lie and be for the greater good because the truth and the good are tied.
Yes. Yes. What is good must always be true. What is good must always be true. Literally, what is good must always be the truth that is good. You know, the truth cannot encourage a lie. The truth cannot encourage lie. The truth will never tell you to lie. I'm not saying that there is no instance where people lie for the truth, but the truth does not encourage you to do that lie. The truth is not what tells you to lie. You lie because you choose to lie. But anytime you have a system that encourages you to lie, then you know that's not the truth. You know, like if you look in the Bible, where you hear the Bible say, "Thou shalt not bear false witness." But there was an instance where these men asked about where the Israelites were spying on this land, and when the Israelites were hiding, and the I think it was Rahab, and the soldiers came to ask if they see the Israelites, and Rahab, she lied. If you notice, no one tell Rahab to lie. There was no Bible verse that tell Rahab to lie, but she lied. So she lied for the greater good. But was it encouraged? Was it something that God said, Rahab, lie? No, she lied for her own, of her own. But in Islam, it's not so. It's actually taught that you're supposed to lie. A part of jihad is that you can lie.
Then perhaps you're not on the
I
extreme.
think that's right. So I think that's a really smart idea. The idea that if you have a belief system politically that requires any lies to support, then that's an indication that you've gone too far. I think.
And that's an indication that Obama has gone too far, because he's promoting lies to support his agenda. You know, he's promoting lies to support his agenda. Under his administration, people suffer because of Obama. Well, let me show you why I say that. In Nigeria, because of Obama, the president of Nigeria took place, and that man become president of Nigeria. And since he become president of Nigeria, you see the activities of these Muslims. You know, you see the activities of these Muslims. Last week, Muslims attack a woman. Several Muslim men attack a woman and and beat her and light her on fire while she's alive. You know, what we see is, you know, and this is a religion. Can you imagine this, man? You call this a religion? You call this a religion? Like in today's era, you're looking at this as a religion where young men can just light a woman on fire. Just light a woman on fire, like, you know, for say that you blaspheme. And why they can get away with it is because Muhammad, a man once stabbed his slave in the stomach, and the slave that he stabbed actually was his wife in a sense, because he had children with the slave, and he stabbed the woman in the stomach and killed the woman. And when he asked, when he come to judgment before Muhammad, and he said, she was talking nasty stuff about you, so I killed her. Muhammad said, no one should hurt this man. And there's another incident where a Jewish woman was talking about Muhammad, and someone strangled her to death. Someone choked her to death. And Muhammad said, no one should hurt the person who choked the Jewish woman to death for talking bad about him. So these are the encouragement, the things that encourage these Muslims to do these things, because they know, they believe within themselves that if the Prophet forgive people who were so-called blaspheming against him, they can be forgiven. So I'm gonna say from here, man, peace out, man, and God bless you all, man. And yes, you see, my sister said he was killed. He killed her with her child in her lap. That's literally true. He stabbed the woman with the child in her lap. This is how Islam is an evil religion, evil cult. Totally evil cult. Brother, I am from India. Adam live session bring about 2,000. Yes, I've seen it. I've watched that one. I can't understand what he's saying, but I just watch sometimes a little bit, just because it's to see him with 2,000 had 1,800 people. It's like, wow, this guy is doing something for God, you know. But I say channel grow. When I started out, I started with no subscriber, and you know, you keep going and going and going and going until right now I think I have 300 and something subscriber. So it grows, and don't care how it grows. If one person listen to me, I'm cool. You know, one day, who knows? Make the videos, who knows one day what will happen. And as I say, I make this video because I have a sister at work that whose brother is believing that the family should become Muslim, and I'm showing her, no, don't get into that stupidity. So I'm gonna say peace out and God bless you all. And what I want to say again, as I always said it, all praises to the triune God, the God who is above all gods, the God who give us wisdom to decipher things and to make sense of sensible things, and to make nonsense of things that are nonsense. Islam is nonsense. And as the apostate prophet would say, stay away from Islam.